Should you buy or should you rent a violin? Well, in this video, I'm going to share my thoughts on whether you should buy or whether you should rent when you're first starting out on the violin. Stick around to the end of the video. Hi, violinists of YouTube. My name is Eric. I'm a violinist. If you're new to the channel, thanks for stopping by. If you haven't done so already, please make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notifications, that way you get notified for when new videos come out. It also helps out the channel to provide more videos for you. So should you rent or should you buy? Let's talk about the pros and cons to both. So if you're a beginner violinist and you're wanting to start it out as a hobby, then I would definitely recommend renting, just because you don't know if you're going to be sticking around for the long haul. The benefit of renting a violin is that if you're a young child and you are more than likely going to be growing out of that size for a longer period of time, then it makes sense to rent, because you're going to end up upgrading and updating the size into a bigger violin size. And the maximum that you can get is a full size, which is a 4/4 violin size. 8th size, quarter size, half size, 3/4. You also can rent a 7/8 violin, although that's kind of rare. You can. I've seen violin shops do that. And you could also do a full-size violin rental. And once you reach the full size, then that could be a conversation with yourself or with your parent or with your teacher, whether or not you should purchase a violin. But if you're an adult wanting to try the violin as a hobby, you can rent it, see if you like it, and then if you do like it, then you can purchase it. If you rent a violin from like a luthier or a shop, then you are going to have some added protection, some added benefits. I know that some stores and some shops, they like to do insurance included in the rentals. So let's say a string breaks or something catastrophic happens with the violin, then you are covered under that insurance. I remember when I was working at a violin shop and I opened a violin and literally the entire neck of the violin came off. As a violin store employee, I said is this covered? And the manager said, yeah, that's covered. If you're a parent or if you're a beginner, has no idea how to fix a violin or have no idea on how to take care of an instrument, then renting is the way to go, because again, you have that all covered under the insurance. With purchasing a violin, anything that you have to fix comes out of pocket. So yeah, you're going to pay upfront a little bit more for an instrument, bow, case, rosin, all the accessories and whatnot. But let's say a string pops off or something like the bridge collapses or the bridge snaps in half, God knows what. Then you are required to pay for those repairs, and those repairs do get costly. You want to go to a good shop that you might pay a little bit more upfront, but at least you're going to get the quality that you're going to get for a violin to get fixed. Something to note, when you're renting a violin, you're also renting a bow alongside a case, and typically they'll give you a small cake of rosin. The violin rental includes the bow and the case. So let's say you have something wrong with the bow, a bunch of hairs flying everywhere, that's covered too. Typically, you can't get a rehair on the same bow. That usually takes a lot of time, and violin shops typically have a lot of bows in rotation. And let's say you want to get one specific bow that you're renting, get for a rehair, it is more than likely you just might as well just get another violin bow. Or it's probably like a carbon bow that you could probably just take another one off the shelf and it'll do the exact same thing. But on the minus side, when you purchase a violin, if you're a beginner, then you'll be responsible for rehairing your bow. And depending on your area, different areas and different shops charge different prices. Like I know in my area, a good bow rehair costs $85. You can go as low as $60, but I can't remember finding any bow rehairs for less than $60, because you're paying for the hair. You're also paying for the labor of attaching the hair to your bow. The question you might be asking, well, can I just do that myself? No, there's a lot of detail that goes into bow making and restoration and fixing bow rehairs. And there's a lot of little things that you really don't want to mess up. And if you do mess up, you'll end up having to pay for that bow. Of course, from a financial perspective, if you're a parent watching whether you should rent or buy, it makes more sense financially to purchase a violin, right? But then you also have to pay for the repairs for the violins. If you're a parent watching this video and you're curious whether or not you should rent or you should purchase, if you're at a full-size violin, then yeah, you should purchase, because then you don't have to pay an annual rent. But if you're going to have a child starting the violin from a very young age and they're expected to grow, then it makes sense to rent, because you have the insurance and you may not be familiar with all the violin repairs, changing a string or repairing a bridge or God knows what. it's just better to have that insurance. The downside of renting, of course, is that you have to pay a fee. You have to pay a monthly fee, or some violin contracts. You can't do month to month. That's very rare. Normally violin shop, they don't do month to month. They either do like 3, 6, 8 months, and then you can do an entire year. Definitely some pros and cons between renting and purchasing a violin. Question of the day: do you rent or did you purchase your violin? If so, did it work for you? Are you having a good experience with the shop that you have? I want to start a chat down below. I respond to every comment, and I want to make sure I get this conversation going. Thanks again for stopping by. If you found value in this video, hit the like button, leave a comment down below, and I would really appreciate if you subscribe so that way you get notified for when new videos come out. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next video.